Hi everyone, hope you're safe and well, and here we are with another Hattons live session, and today we're taking a look at a locomotive that I'm sure is going to charm most, if not all of you. We're taking a look at the Hattons Originals Andrew Barclay in 00 gauge. Now, as ever, we'll be covering a little bit of the history, we'll be giving you some real inspiration into how to get one of these small but fantastic locomotives onto your layouts, and also some of the technical details as well. But do add your questions into the chat regarding these locomotives and I'll answer as many as I can. Now, these are something different than we've looked at in the current streams. These are purely industrial locomotives, so built for a huge variety of different industries, whether it's the coal industry or government sort of shipyards and various other uses as well. And Andrew Barclay was a design and a builder based in Kilmarnock in southwest Scotland, shall I say. And they built locos from the late 1800s right through to the 1950s. And the 040 saddle tank locomotive was one of their standard designs throughout that period as well. The models that we've chosen to make are the 14 and the 16-inch cylinder size variations of these. And these represent almost 1,000 of the locomotives that were built in similar designs over that 60-year period as well. You were able to get in touch with the company and basically quote a standardized design, and they'd ask whether you'd want a higher cab or a lower cab or more or less power for working in certain sidings. So it really was the first sort of off-the-shelf design locomotive that you could buy for your industrial site or other reasons as well. So that really is one of the reasons we chose this project, to be able to have a standard design, but all with their own little differences as well. And just to highlight some of those straight away for you, you can see already the two different cab styles there. There's actually 4 different cab styles altogether. You've got the opened back where you can fully see the cab interior. And then you have 3 different types of rear spectacle plate there as well. These, again, are all based on fully authentic locomotives that were built, the 7 that we have here currently as well. So coming into some of the liveries, we've chosen examples that cover various different colour schemes from the 1920s right through to the 1990s and into preservation as well. We have Coronation in the lined Brunswick green. This was based at Steamtown, Carnforth in the 1970s, 1980s, and I believe is still there to this day. NCB number 10 from Ayrshire, again, up in Scotland. This worked on the Ayrshire coalfields with the National Coal Board in this fully lined black livery, and it's also preserved in this livery as well. Number 3 in the Fina Petrol Blue, again, another 1970s liveried locomotive in that really sharp, bright blue livery. Another NCB example, this particular locomotive based at Kinneil Collieries, up just north of Edinburgh. And this again survives in preservation at the Bowness Railway Museum. Coming across, 3 more to look at. We've got WTT. This worked at a quarry in Cumbria as well. So again, another Brunswick green livery there, suitable for the 1950s. Second to last, we've got Katie. This is in the red livery. This was based at a garden centre in Cheshire for a while, painted in this particular colour scheme, and now lives at the Churnick Valley Railway in Staffordshire. And finally, a BR Black number 705. This particular locomotive currently based at the Plym Valley Railway near Plymouth, but representing one of the locomotives used by British Rail and the Great Western Railway as well. So even from that potted history, you've already seen there's a lot of different eras to cover, a lot of different opportunities for operation. We have petrol refineries, coal fields, British Rail use and Great Western use as well. So these locomotives really can fit in with a lot of different items that may be in your collection already, whether you have a small industrial layout on the go or a small set of sidings, which the Barclay in BR livery is absolutely perfect for. I'll let you get a quick look at Katie close up. This is the 16-inch variation, so slightly longer frames, slightly larger cylinders than the 14-inch that you'll see in my other hand there, as well as the larger tanks and also the body side ladder too. So again, quite a lot of different variations catered for within these models, as well as the big buffers you see there, as opposed to the tapered smaller buffers on the other locos. Just let you get a closer look at that cab detail. So quick question there regarding the Great Western livery. That is another locomotive we have in stock. That's also numbered 705. We've got 7 here to show you today, and we do have further models in stock in other liveries. I just thought I'd give you a good showcase of the different liveries that we do have available today. So as ever, the tech specs. We want to know how these work. They look good, but do they work just as well? Of course they do. You've got 4-wheel drive there, all-wheel pickup as well. You've got a 5-pole skew-wound motor heading down onto the rear wheel set. That has a 6-pin decoder socket for a micro 6-pin decoder, such as Gagemaster's DCC93. Full NEM couplings there too. Sprung buffers also. Fully working outside valve gear there as well. And again, a lot of detail, especially on that open cab version, but you've also got the rear handbrake wheel too. You've got the safety valves, the oil lubricator piping coming down from the tanks there. And on the front, you've got the separate handrail fittings, the separate smoke box door fitting also. I'll bring up one of the finer locomotives for you so you can see the level of the printing too. Again, there's high quality pictures on the website. If you check that link down in the description, you can see some real close-ups of these. But that really fine lining there, and of course the builder's plate on coronation also. So one of the reasons we chose the liveries we did was they are all fully authentic colour schemes for these particular locomotives, but they do look just at home on a variety of layouts. It's possible to use the NCB liveried locomotive on coal yards across the country. Some of the more generic locomotives, such as Coronation, Katie, or WTT, can easily be made to work on your own factory sidings, dockyards, any other opportunity you can think of. And again, as SLD51 mentioned in the chat, we've got the BR variation and the Great Western variations available as well for those of you who want to operate them on the main line also. They'll get down to a minimum of radius 2. So if you have got some tight layout curves in your yard, that's absolutely no issue for the Barclay. What I'll let you do is just get a quick look at the detailing pack as well. This comes with an optional vacuum brake set, but also the hook coupling there as well, which you can put on should you wish, the cosmetic coupling there. Now, I would recommend that you don't have that with the standard NEM coupling. I've taken the couplings off WTT there so you can see how it would look without those. And if you do want to put that cosmetic coupling on, that is what I would recommend. So there we go. John Finney is already saying, great little models, had the Caledonian Railway and black version, very good performance for an 040. You've got it spot on there. These locomotives have got to work over tightly laid point work, sort of insul frog, electrofrog points as well. And they really do have the ability to do that. There is a smaller amount of room for a stay alive if you did want to put one in with your decoder. But again, they shouldn't really need it. It's really easy to get the body off as well. It is just the 2 screws where my fingers are located there. And that is really easy to do should you wish to put in a decoder, although you do need to detach the lubricator piping there as well. If you can't remember that, as ever, we've got a full set of instructions for you. This a little bit different, done in the style of the standard catalogue that you would have got from the likes of Andrew Barclay, just to make it that little bit more like buying a real locomotive, but a little bit smaller. And then inside, you have the full information on digital fitting, fitting the extra parts as well. And again, a little bit more information on the prototype there too. That's all included with the model, including the detailing pack we mentioned before. Just had a question regarding the Acton Lane version, which is Little Barford, and I've kept this in the box for now, but we'll get it out just to show you that they come in a really secure clamshell packaging with the plastic cover in there, just to make sure they arrive with you in perfect condition. Now, this locomotive is quite different than the others with the wasp stripes on there. And this highlights that these locomotives actually outlasted all of the mainline steam in the UK, which ended in 1968. But the Barclays carried on, with the last ones being used in industry into the 1970s. So even if you're a diesel modeler, if you've got BR Blue diesels with no steam locomotives on your layout whatsoever, a 1970s condition locomotive such as Little Barford there with the iconic wasp stripes on the end. As said in the chat, someone's already picked up on this. This did work at Acton Lane Power Station, hence the need for the various safety paint schemes on it. It didn't really get much further than that, but it was seen with a wide variety of wagons, including coal wagons and steel mineral wagons in there too. And again, that is one of the many of these locomotives that's entered preservation. I believe it is now at Mangap's farm in Essex in a different colour scheme as well. So if you're a modeler and you like small locomotives from the 1920s right through to the current day, whether it's industry, whether it's main line, whether it's preservation, there really is a Barclay for you. But also the smooth running as well, the high quality of the detail. And the best bit is that the models come in at under £100 as well, with Katie at £89 and the rest available at £99. Again, click that link in the description should you wish to find out a little bit more on those two. I'll just let you have a closer look again. And this shows the detailing on the back of the cab. Again, another one of those rear cab styles on show, but also the size of the 14-inch version with the smaller cylinders and the shorter frame as well. So there really is a lot of variety when it comes to these particular locomotives. I'll pick one of the 16-inch versions, and you can just about see there the difference in the length of the frames if I hold them together. And again, the variety that's catered for in the tooling there and the broad spread of liveries as well. And again, the last but not least is the final cab style there also. So this particular set of toolings represents the 14 and the 16-inch versions built from around the end of World War I until about the end of World War II as well, when a more modern cab design was brought in. But this covers around 500 or 600 locomotives that were built to broadly this design with a lot of these different features as well. Again, you've got the different buffer shanks on there, the different buffer styles. So a lot catered for in that tooling, as I have mentioned. But they're not only freight locomotives either. We are getting the idea that they work on coal fields, petrol refineries, etc. But in preservation, these locomotives can be seen hauling short rakes. Again, if you click that link in the description, we do have a formations guide available to give you some real inspiration with models you may have already in your collection. But it's fair to say, if you've got any freight stock on your layout dating from the 1920s through to the 60s and the 70s, putting a Barclay at the front of it will be a really appropriate setup should you want to get one of these really small but perfectly formed locomotives onto your layout. And they only come in at just about under 3 inches there as well. So it's really easy to fit them in. You don't need any huge siding space to get one of these large locomotives in there. So it's a really good time to start modelling industrial layouts at the moment. Not only are the Barclays available, but you may have seen other locomotives on the market, such as Hornby's Peckett W4, Hornby's Peckett B2 as well, the Oxford Rail Janus diesel shunter. So it really is a time to either add this to a collection you already have or start modelling industrial railways, which you can fit in quite a small space with small locomotives, a couple of wagons here and there. It's a great opportunity to really weather or add some further detailing to your locos as well. And we do sell locomotive crew packs, which are ideal for inserting into the cabs, especially of the open cab back version. Again, you can check those out on the link in the description. They do require painting, but we produce those in either industrial or National Coal Board costumes. So perfect from the 1940s again, right through to the 1980s as well. Just had a request to take a closer look at Katie again there. And this really stands out in the bright red for me too. It's not usually a colour that you get a lot of industrial locomotives in. But at the same time, with there being independent companies, there really was an opportunity here to get some unusual liveries onto your layout. If you're normally a BR Steam or a Big Four era modeler, you may only have certain liveries from certain operators. And this gives an opportunity for greens. You've got light or dark, light or dark blues, reds, blacks, you name it. It really does give an opportunity to get a different shade and a little bit more colour and variety onto your setup as well. So it just remains for me to say there really is an opportunity for pretty much every 00 modeler who models from the 1930s until now, really, to get one of these Barclays onto their layout. There's hundreds of excuses, hundreds of different operations, many different detailing types as well. Should you wish to add more detail to them, you can do with what's in the detailing pack as well. Some great opportunities for operation, whether you have a big industrial complex or a small private yard or even a shed scene as well. You can see them in pretty much every operation. They work great right down to the second radius. They've got a powerful 5-pole motor, easy to DCC fit as well. So whether you're an analog or a digital user, they are a model for you. So, what's my favorite? Well, it's always a tough question, really. I think I've got to say all of them. I know it's a bit of a cheap answer, I'm afraid, but I just can't choose one, really. They've all got their own individualities. They've all got their own histories, which we covered towards the start of the stream as well. And again, there are more details on the specific eras and areas of operation on the website too. But I've got to say, each one of them has its own excuse to be a favourite, really. They've all got their own characters. They've all got their own charm. You can see them all on appropriate layouts as well. And there really is some great excuses to either add these to a project you've already got on the go, or maybe start a little industrial diorama with a Barclay and a couple of coaches or wagons too. I'll just again let you have one last look at what's got to be the brightest one at all that we've got here, which is the Fina Petrol Blue. Again, a really sort of straight industrial livery from the 1970s, but still fully lined in the red there as well. You still get a bit of class heading through, even into the modern era, and just adding steam locomotives onto a layout where you wouldn't usually expect them in the 1970s as well. So all it remains for me to say, as ever, is thanks a lot for watching. Everything you can see here is available in stock now. You can check out that link in the description for more information. They start with Katie at £89 and head up to £99 for the rest. They are really fantastic models with a great amount of detail and a pulling power to match as well. So do take a look if you're thinking of a new project or adding to an industrial complex that you already have. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.